My name is Elena Voss, and I ran one of the most admired fashion companies in the world for 47 years. I want to tell you what a journalist wrote about AURE in 2004. It was a profile, positive, flattering. One line stopped me cold. He wrote, AURE is the most impressive company you will ever feel nothing inside of. I cut out that page and kept it in my desk drawer for 18 years. I never told anyone why. Every leader believes their company has a culture. Most of them are wrong about what that culture actually is. They think culture is what is written on the wall, the values poster in the lobby, the mission statement in the annual report, the team building weekend in the mountains. That is not culture. Culture is what happens in the room when the leader leaves. It is the thing that your employees do on instinct without thinking, because they have absorbed over years what actually gets rewarded and what actually gets punished. Not what you say gets rewarded, what actually does. I know this because AURE had a culture that I built without ever intending to. A culture that was precise, demanding, brilliant in execution, and almost completely devoid of warmth. It won awards. It was studied in business schools. It made us extraordinary amounts of money. And it was, in every detail that mattered, a portrait of me. I want to tell you how that happens. Because if you are building something right now, a team, a company, a department, even a small project, it is already happening to you, whether you know it or not. Let me take you back to 1981. AURE had been running for 9 years. We had 47 employees. I had a policy, unwritten, never announced, that personal items were not to be on desks. No photographs, no plants, no mugs with slogans, no children's drawings taped to monitors. I never told anyone this directly. I did not have to. The first time I walked past a desk with a framed photo of someone's family and moved it without a word, placed it face down in their drawer, the message traveled through the office in under an hour. Within 2 weeks, every desk was clear. You know what I told myself that was about? Professionalism, focus, the understanding that we were here to work, not to decorate. What it was actually about, and what I could not see until much later, was control. And underneath the control, something I did not have a name for at the time. Discomfort. Other people's family photographs made me uncomfortable, reminded me of things I was not building at home while I was building AURE, so I removed them. And 47 people adjusted their behavior to manage my discomfort. That is how a culture starts. And here is what I did not understand until it was far too late. Every policy I created, every reaction I had, everything I praised and everything I ignored, all of it was teaching my people something. Not what I intended to teach, what I actually was. AURE learned to be excellent, genuinely, uncomfortably excellent. Deadlines were not guidelines. Standards were not suggestions. The work had to be right, not good right, before it left the building. I am still proud of that. I want to be clear about that. But AURE also learned other things. It learned that emotions were a liability, that if you showed uncertainty in a meeting, you lost ground, that the way to survive was to be confident even when you were not, especially when you were not, because confidence was what I rewarded and hesitation was what I dismissed. Do you understand what that does to a team over years? When the people around you learn that doubt is dangerous, they stop sharing it with you. They stop telling you the things you need to hear. They tell you the things that keep them safe, and you stop hearing the truth. You do not know you have stopped. That is the trap. You think you are being told everything because no one is hiding anything from you, but they are not hiding it. They have simply learned slowly that the cost of honesty is too high. I had a VP of operations, a man named David, who knew for 9 months that a supplier in Southeast Asia was using labor practices that would have destroyed AURE if they became public. He knew. 3 of his direct reports knew. No one told me. When it came out, I asked David why he had not said anything. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he said, "Elena, I did not believe the news would be welcome." He was right, and he had learned that by watching me for 9 years. I had built a company where the truth was unwelcome, and I had done it entirely by accident. In 2007, a woman named Rosa retired from AURE, 15 years with the company. She had started as a junior pattern cutter and worked her way up to head of production for our European operations. We held a small dinner for her, 12 people. One of those events I attended because I was supposed to. Stay with me here. Because what happened next is the thing I have thought about more than almost anything else in my professional life. Rosa stood up to give a speech. She thanked the team. She thanked the company. She said AURE had taught her more about precision and craft than anywhere else she had ever worked or would ever work. Then she paused. She looked at me directly, and she said, "Elena, I want to say one more thing. I want to thank you for teaching me what I did not want to become." The table went quiet. Rosa sat down. Someone started talking about dessert. I drove home that night, and I sat in my car in the garage for 31 minutes. I know the time because I checked my watch when I turned the engine off and again when I finally went inside. 31 minutes. I kept thinking about the way she said it. Not with cruelty, not with anger. The way you say a thing when you have carried it for a long time and finally decided it is more important to say it than to protect someone's feelings. You know what the worst part was? I understood exactly what she meant, and I went back to work the next morning and did not change a single thing, because by then the company and the person were the same. I did not know how to change one without losing the other. When the board replaced me in 2016, they brought in a CEO named Marcus, 41 years old. No fashion background, came from technology. The industry thought it was a disaster. I thought it was a disaster. 18 months later, AURE's employee retention was up 34%. Internal surveys, the kind my HR team had falsified for years to show me what I wanted to see, showed engagement scores that AURE had never seen in its history. The revenue was flat. The creative output was, frankly, weaker than what I had built. But people were staying, and people were talking, and people were telling their leaders the truth. I asked Marcus once what he had done differently. He said, "I told them on my first day that I did not have all the answers, that I needed them to tell me when I was wrong." He paused and then said, "I think that was new information for most of them." That was the whole difference. He had started with honesty about his limits. I had spent 47 years performing the absence of limits. One of us built a company people wanted to work for. The other built a company people were proud to have survived. If you lead anything, a company, a team, a household, a classroom, I need you to understand something. The people around you are not responding to your intentions. They are responding to your patterns, to the thing you do repeatedly, automatically, without thinking. The way you react when someone brings you bad news. The way you handle being wrong in public. The way you treat the person in the room with the least power. They are watching all of it, every time, and they are learning from it, not the lesson you want to teach, but the lesson you are actually giving. If you react to bad news by shooting the messenger, they will stop bringing you bad news, every time, without exception. If you are never wrong in public, they will learn that being right matters more than being honest. If you treat the junior person in the room as less than, they will treat the person below them the same way. You are teaching constantly. The only question is what. So, what is your company learning from you right now? Not what you want it to learn, what it is actually learning. I kept that magazine page in my desk drawer for 18 years. The most impressive company you will ever feel nothing inside of. I kept it because somewhere, underneath everything, I knew it was true. And knowing something is true and changing because of it are two completely different things. I was better at the first than the second. Here is what I wish I had asked myself at 30. Not at 70. At 30, when there was still time to build something different. What do I want the people who worked for me to say when they leave? Not in their LinkedIn post. Not in the official goodbye email, in the car on the way home from their last day. What do I want them to say to themselves in the quiet when no one is listening? That question, asked honestly and answered honestly, will tell you more about your leadership than any framework, any book, any course you will ever take. My name is Elena Voss. I built AURE for 47 years. That journalist was right, and so is Rosa. Your work is a mirror. What does it show you?